Ladies and gentlemen, greetings and welcome to Let's Talk Theory, the show where we analyze some ideas and hypotheses around our favorite subjects. I'm your host Ezelrix, and today get good and prepare to die, because we're talking about the Soul series. The Souls games are a peculiar genre of games. They're more a gameplay than an actual saga. But there is one game in peculiar that did revolution what we think about when we say a Souls game. The PS4 exclusive Master of Punishment Bloodborne. If you thought Dark Souls 3 was a difficult video game you haven't played, Bloodborne is the little cousin of the Dark Souls saga, but angrier, faster, and most importantly, way more difficult. So now put the kids to bed, take out your Estus and your hunter's weapon, cause it's time to see if Bloodborne could fit in the Souls timeline. Also, if it wasn't obvious enough, I'm gonna spoil the entire Souls series, so this is your spoiler warning. Alright, so now that this is out of the way, let's talk theory. We're gonna begin by doing some myth busting. Miyazaki himself, the man responsible for the entire Soul series, did say that Demon Soul, Bloodborne, and Dark Souls are three separate games with three separate universes. So this theory is not really about how Dark Souls and Bloodborne are connected, but how they could be connected. There's the difference. And in a way, it's not like developers, directors, and writers didn't have the habit of debunking theories that end up to be true, especially in universes like Dark Souls, the video game you can play more than 100 hours of and not know a single piece of lore or storyline. In the first Dark Souls, Lord Gwyn rose against the Elder Dragon and then threw himself in the fire to prevent the world from falling into the darkness, thus igniting the first Age of Fire. Unfortunately, the Age of Fire is not eternal, and in the first two Dark Souls, you are the chosen undead, the one who is supposed to link the first flame, restore the Age of Fire, sacrificing yourself for the sake of the world. That until the third Dark Souls game. In Dark Souls 3, Prince Lothric, ruler of the Kingdom of Lothric, was supposed to link the first flame, but he decided not to throw himself in the fire and burn for all eternity for some unknown reason. And that's where you come in this third opus in the saga. You play as an unkindled, someone who did try to link the fire by the past, but who failed. Now resurrected by the Firekeeper, you have a second chance to protect the world from the Age of Darkness. And that leads us to the end of the game, where you will have three options. First of all, the basic and most easy ending, you can link the fire, thus preventing the Age of Darkness from falling onto the world until the next time the fire will need to be rekindled. Then you have the usurpation end, the ending where you take the first flame for yourself and basically becomes a Lord of the Undead. Then you have the third ending, the one that is widely accepted among fans as the canon ending. In this ending, you conspire with the Firekeeper to let the flame extinguish and let the world fall into the darkness. And even then, you have the option to be a jerk and kill the Firekeeper to take the first flame for yourself, or you can still be loyal to the Firekeeper, and that seems to be the canon one. This is when, in my opinion, the Dark Souls timeline splits in three. Just like in the first Dark Souls, the first ending shows you igniting the fire, but the fire seems to be way weaker than it was back then. We can deduce that each time the fire is rekindled, it gets a little bit weaker. You're just prolonging the inevitable return to the Age of Darkness. This is just speculation, but the second ending seems to put the world in the Age of Darkness with you as the new ruler. And finally, we have the third ending, and I believe that this timeline is the timeline where the event of Bloodborne could occur. First of all, when the screen goes dark, the Firekeeper will ask you if you still hear her voice, foreshadowing the fact that your mission is not completed yet. She even foreshadows the fact that the fire might be rekindled by itself eventually.
But one day, tiny flames will dance across the darkness. Ashen One, hearest thou my voice still?
What if this potential rekindling of the Age of Fire resulted in the Bloodborne timeline? What if Bloodborne was the end of the Age of Darkness? We have pretty strong clues that the two games share a universe. First of all, there are many similarities between the combat system, through the hitbox, the healing, etc. So we know that the laws of physics in the two games are pretty much the same. But where the two games differ is that in Bloodborne, in the town of Yharnam, there seems to be much more monster infesting the world than in Dark Souls. I believe that the big plague turning people into monster in Bloodborne is the result of the fire being fade out and the Age of Darkness taking over. In Bloodborne, the use of fire is frequent for Hunter. And in Dark Souls we have pyromancy, one of the three big kinds of magic. So if the fire has faded and the Age of Darkness has taken over, it is logical to think that the monster born in the Age of Darkness would be weak to fire. If we look at the item description for the Hunter's Torch, we can see that it is indeed a powerful weapon used by Hunter to hunt monsters that are weak to fire. Unlike the regular torch, which is a regular torch. Sometimes you don't have to dig deeper. But since we're talking about items, I call in for questioning the one item that is not only present in each Dark Souls game, but also in Bloodborne, the Moonlight Greatsword. Not only is it available both in Dark Souls and Bloodborne, but look at this item description. When blue moonlight dances around the sword and it channels the abyssal cosmos. This is the Bloodborne description of the sword, and that's a pretty interesting choice of word, because in Dark Souls, the illness that corrupted the Abyss Watcher is indeed called the Abyss. And in Bloodborne, we know that people are turning into beasts because of a big magic plague. Could these two illnesses be one and only entity? Then in Dark Souls 3, we obtain the sword by defeating Osiris the Cursed King, and in this description, we can read: Osiris, the Consumed King, was infatuated with the search for moonlight, but in the end it never revealed itself to him. It isn't too far of a stretch that in Bloodborne the world seems to be in a very worse place than in Dark Souls. And the whole premise of Bloodborne, for that matter, is that the sun is gone, that the night is eternal until the end of the game. That said, if you get the good ending to Bloodborne, you'll see the eternal night ending and the sun rising again, echoing the Age of Darkness being burned away by the relinking of the first flame. So here's the great line of the theory. I believe that in Bloodborne, the Age of Darkness has taken away the Dark Souls universe, and that instead of relinking the first flame, the hunters must destroy all the beasts that roams Yharnam. In this optic, we can understand that Bloodborne would be some kind of post-apocalyptic world based on the Dark Souls universe. A world where the Dark Age and the Abyss have completely corrupted the world, only for the hunters to rise and defend it. But tell me, Unkindled, did you make the right decision? Did you link the fire? Did you decide to become an undead lord? Or did you decide to let the flame fade away, unknowingly shredding the world and putting it into a constant state of darkness, only to save it again as a hunter?